Hey, everybody! Welcome to HorrorBuzz Live, where we are going to discuss the week's news and information regarding anything and everything horror. We have a big show for you tonight, and very excited about what we're about to share. I'm sure you've heard the big news about David Markland's new convention. We're going to recap a few different things. We're going to bring in Lindsey, of course, to give us the rundown on news and entertainment. And we are also going to tell you that if you like what you see, please like and subscribe, and visit us on Patreon if you really like what you see. We are on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. And notice I didn't put the pronoun the there, Lindsey. So without further ado, we are going to bring on Lindsey.
Oh, he's learning.
I am learning.
I'm so proud of you.
It takes a bit of time, but damn it, it happens. How are you? How you
I
been?
don't I am really good, and last weekend was the best weekend I have had in a really long time, and we can talk about why later, but I don't want to ruin anything, but it was a really
Oh, a
good
nice bit
weekend
of
for me.
foreshadowing for the show. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, we're getting all structured. Excellent.
Well, I mean, you know. Anyway, if we're gonna remain with the structured theme, we can jump right into events if you like.
You know what? Bring it.
Yeah.
Bring it.
Bring it. Okay. We've got lots and lots and lots of stuff coming. Like I keep saying, as things keep opening up and with summer coming, we are ramping up and the events are rolling out. So let's start with our movies. We have a movie coming out on Thursday, May 6th. So that's this Thursday. And it actually was released last year. It was on the festival circuit. It was a part of the Fantaspoa, Fantasia, and Cinequest circuits. And it's now going to be on Shudder. And that is Fried Berry. And that's about Barry, and he is a drug addict, and he's kind of a loser, kind of a nobody, and he gets abducted by an alien who decides to rent his body for a little bit and explore the depths and depravity of mankind. So it's a wild ride. It's a lot of bright colors. It's very much like if a drug trip and an alien abduction are on a screen. That's literally what it is. If that interests you, it's going to be on Thursday on Shudder. And we have a couple films coming to video on demand on Friday. So our first one is Initiation, and that is about a university's pledge week. So we have like the Greek partying, and it turns super serious when one of the athletes, their star Greek athlete, is found impaled. And it starts a sinister social media, he said, she said type campaign, and all these dark secrets get unearthed. So if that sounds like something you want to check out, be sure to look at your preferred video platform and you'll find it there. Also coming out on Friday, we have The Devil's Child. That is about Cherry, and she's a young nurse and finds herself haunted by some childhood trauma after becoming an employee at a remote estate. So kind of a supernatural spooky one there, and like I said, if that interests you, that is also on video on demand. And moving on to what I would love to talk about is our events. We have so much good stuff coming up, so get excited because the light is shining bright at the end of the tunnel, folks. I mentioned last week, the Sinister pop-up bar is coming back this summer. There hasn't been more information released about that, but our folks and friends over at Sinister Point have released their Ghostly Retreat. So that is their Haunted Mansion themed Airbnb. It is officially available for reservations. The Airbnb is located in Fullerton, California, and it boasts props, figures, lights, illusions, and sounds that happen the entire time you're there. So if this sounds like something you want to experience and see all the wall-to-wall creeps practicing their terror with ghoulish delight, then you better go over to sinisterpoint.com and check it out. You can go to their Instagram, and you can visit the Airbnb directly to view some renderings of the ghostly getaway. Spots are filling, so hurry up and book your stay. And also coming this summer, so if an official date has not been announced, but I want to put this on your radar now because Halloween Depot is going to be putting on a fashion boutique. So it's a Halloween themed fashion show. It's all about fashion and clothes and horror themed apparel, and it's going to be a pop up shop as well. And they're currently looking for vendors. So if you are a craftsman with some spooky items to sell, be sure to visit their Instagram and slide into those DMs and secure your spot, because I'm sure that'll be a fun filled way to get ready for the Halloween season. And we also have on May 11th, so that's next Tuesday, at the Mess Hall Market. It's part of the educational drive-in series. Our friends over at the cinema are going to be showing Jacob's Ladder. So you guys, if you're familiar with that, it's a psychological film about psychosis, PTSD, losing grips with reality. It's a very gripping film. And after the showing of the film, they're going to have a conversation with Dr. Bernard McGrain, who is a professor of sociology at Chapman University. So you get this great piece of cinema paired up with this really in-depth intellectual discussion about the film and its societal implications. So it's every film nerd's dream. So snag your tickets over at the Free to Cinemas website. And last but certainly not least, we have the Days of the Dead Festival is coming to Las Vegas next weekend. So if you're not familiar with Days of the Dead Festival, it's basically a horror themed convention. It has all sorts of horror themed programming, and there's a large emphasis on horror collectibles. So if you are a figurine collector or shot glass collector, things like that, there's all these kinds of displays for sale and whatnot. So the tickets are 30-ish bucks a day. It runs from Friday, May 14th to Sunday, May 16th. And celebrity guests include Joe Bob Briggs, Anthony Michael Hall, and Danny Trejo, Dave Sheridan, Tony Moran, David Naughton. So there's a whole bunch of horror heavy hitters, if you want to call them that. So if you're interested in that, visit the daysofdead.com. That's where you can purchase your tickets. So that's what we've got coming up. And that is just a small piece, you guys. I had to hold back. There's some stuff coming down later in summer that I want to talk about, but
we gotta pace ourselves.
We have to pace ourselves.
Yeah. And I will say that I actually saw Friday that's coming to Shudder, and I loved it. It was such a weird movie. Did you see it?
No, I've
Lindsey?
seen like the clips. I know it looks like my kind of movie though, because it's so out there. It's so wild, and it seems like it's a pretty fast and loose story. So I don't know.
Very like Fear and Loathing,
which I love. That's one of my favorites. I love that movie.
And but it's also it's strangely endearing. Like this alien is kind of inhabiting this drugged up guy's body and like figuring things out, and it's hilarious. Oh, it's so funny. So Friedberry, definitely recommend that one. But thank you so much for giving us the rundown, and stick around and we'll have you back in a little bit, Miss Lindsey. Thank you. Oh, Danny also says great seeing you, by the way. So
hi, Danny. I know. Hi, Danny.
Okay, thanks a lot, Lindsey. So, okay, just so that you know, we are also right now looking for people to join the HorrorBuzz team. We are looking for people to play video games and read books. We love having as many people as we can and as diverse a group as we can. So if you are interested in reading books, playing video games, and writing about them, let us know, and I will put that link up in the little chat there. Our next guest is somebody you might have heard of him. He's the executive director of Midsummer Scream and an event consultant and producer, David Markland. Hi.
Hey.
Is everything awesome? There we go.
Everything is awesome.
There we are.
Hey,
how are you?
Good to see you, Norm. Great.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I was going to talk to you about Midsummer Scream and the different things that but you made a big announcement today. Let's talk about that.
Sure. What can I tell you?
So what was the big announcement?
Well, after we've done Midsummer Scream now for four years, this should be our sixth year, unfortunately, but obviously COVID had a way with that. And since COVID's been happening, I've kind of had a fire under my butt to start doing some other events that I've really wanted to do. And two of the events that I've wanted to do one would be a fantasy convention, and the other one a sci-fi convention. And I saw a window to do both on the same weekend. So next February 12th and 13th, Pasadena Convention Center is Sci-Fi Fantasy LA. Two conventions, one location, one ticket price. So it should be a lot of fun.
Wow. So you're more than just a scary guy?
Mostly a scary guy, but with multiple interests.
So what can people expect? Okay, so this is going to be next year. You're saying it's two conventions in one, sci-fi and fantasy, but what types of things are you hoping to have there?
Well, with the sci-fi side is really going to try to be a very science-heavy sci-fi convention. Los Angeles is not only known for making movies, but we're also where we have built rovers to send to Mars through JPL, and Rocketdyne and other companies have been involved with the space industry since before the moon landings. And so it's going to really lean on that industry to give people insight into where we're going into space. But also we'll have a lot of obviously a lot of our favorite film properties and TV properties and lightsabers and everything you love about sci-fi will be there as well. And then on the other side, we have a fantasy convention, which is going to include everything from Game of Thrones and Lord of the Rings, but with that really heavy emphasis on role playing, which has become obviously bigger, which has had I think a bigger wave than it did originally. In the 70s and early 80s when I was playing it. So that'll be really fun. It's sort of timed because it's in early February. It's going to be before all the Ren Fairs start up as well. So we're going to try to make it feel like a launch pad for the Ren Fair season. And also, since it'll be one of the first fan conventions of the year, it'll be a great place for cosplayers to debut or dress up for the first time that year to show off what they're doing.
Now it sounds like your sci-fi aspect is going to be like pretty grounded in reality. Is that true? I mean, are you going to have people from JPL and stuff like that, or?
That's the hope. I mean, we just announced it and kind of are hitting the ground running with having locked the venue and the concept. But the amazing thing, especially with the Halloween community, I found is you meet everybody. I've met so many people that whether they work at JPL or Planetary Society or any of the number of science and space museums around town, some of them are haunters, but people that the sci-fi people, they love science, and the scientists and engineers are a bunch of sci-fi geeks. So even though we'll have them there to kind of tell us how things work, and how we could really go into space. I mean, it's definitely a sci-fi convention. I wouldn't say it's we're not doing a science fair. We're doing a sci-fi convention, but really, I think it'll be even more exciting than usual because you'd be able to see how close to reality a lot of these films are.
Now, how is this going to be different from? How is this going to be different from like Midsummer Scream and those types of experiences?
I mean, the genres themselves, the topics are going to be very different, but there's a lot. I'd say, I think if you love Midsummer Scream, you're going to love these as well. It's because it's going to include a lot of the same concepts that go into making that event, making it as interactive as possible, trying to use the event to kind of empower people. Like with Halloween, we like to let people know they can make their own haunted house. We like to let them know where attractions are going to be that year and try to get them face-to-face contact with the creators. This is going to have the sort of the same idea, where We hope to connect people who are interested in space or sci-fi with the people who make visual effects, or the people who are putting rovers on on Mars. And then on the fantasy side, we're bringing game developers, as well as talent from some fantasy films. So it's very similar in terms of just how we do things, but definitely it's not horror or Halloween. Although, I mean, to be fair, it settled the argument. Aliens is a horror film and it is a
Thank
sci-fi
you.
film, and I really hope to have that there, because it is one of the coolest sci-fi films and one of the coolest horror films ever made.
And it also, the second one also qualifies as an action film.
Yeah, for sure.
If we must be inclusive.
Mhm.
But also, so instead of, say, the Hall of Shadows, are you going to have flight simulators?
Hey, I'll take it. We're trying to see what we can do. It's we teased it last week, and then kind of talking to people about it more recently. There's a lot of people who have ideas to do something similar. I mean, I want to have interactive elements to it as well. Whether or not it'll be something along the lines of the Hall of Shadows, I don't know. But definitely want to have cool photo ops, and I can't promise anything because I don't know what we'll get. But it's a huge creative community out there, and some people, they haven't never been to set up anything at Midsummer because that's not what they do, but they do more sci-fi stuff. But I think it'll be something really unique and awesome.
Well, that I'm very excited for you, and I'm excited to see what comes of it. I'm into, but I mean, it's not. It's I mean, my love is horror, so
Sure.
but I'm fascinated to see what comes of this, and totally wish you all the best on this.
Thank you.
Yeah, wait a minute. I'm getting a call. Hold on a minute. What? Okay. Hey, Claire.
What?
Hi. How's everyone
How's it going?
doing?
She's in my house.
Well,
She's in my bedroom.
I'm
The call is
crashing
coming from inside the house.
What? I thought the show was going to be about me.
Never always about you, baby.
What the hell?
It's all Claire all the time. So
it's
Claire,
the Claire show.
I should have had a jingle done. Quick, where's Chris? So you had a super cool event this past weekend, and David did help you along, but you were one of the major players, just a little. And yeah, let's talk about that. What did you do this past weekend?
So this past weekend was the launch of Spooky Swap Meet at the Heritage Square Museum and off of the 110 near downtown Los Angeles, between downtown Los Angeles and Pasadena. It was awesome. I was on before when we had when Sarah and I, when we had made the announcement, Sarah was unable to join us. But yeah, we managed to pull it off, and it was a smashing success, and we had a ball. And I think when I joined your show prior, we only had one day, and the demand was so overwhelming that we added a second day, and the majority of the vendors were able to come, and so it was we just had a great time. We all had a great time. Sarah, John, David, and myself are all very proud of what we were able to put together, and it was just fun to get to do something, with the creative family and everyone. I mean, we're getting nothing but love. So that's wonderful. And that doesn't mean that anybody out there listening don't feel like you need to now say something negative, because that's not cool. But yeah, it was great. It felt really, everybody was very cooperative in regard to wearing masks, even though it was outdoors, and that restriction is lessening quite a bit. But because there was such a large crowd, everyone was really, really respectful. There were a few times when, there was lines
to get in, waiting for their out because it was a pulsed time. But everyone was great. Everyone, the vendors just showed up and gave it their all. The patrons were just having a great time. We had a bunch of cosplay happening. We also, and then we had our house sponsors who just went all out. We had Murder House Productions, and they did their love story to Trick or Treat, and they did. Oh, and here comes Leon behind me. Say
Hey,
hi, Leon. There he goes.
What's going on, dude?
We had Mystic Museum there, and they decorated their Victorian with all vintage decor. We had Vamp and the Fiends. We had the Farm Haunt. We had Rad Coffee came out and did a sort of a love letter to Stranger Things, and they had a big Demigorgon and some cosplayers doing, Steve and it was an 11, and there were photo ops, and so it was just a wonderful weekend, and it felt like, oh yeah, we're getting back to normal. We are going to get back to normal now. So it was great.
I'm so glad to hear that, and I honestly wish that I was able to make it, but I ended up with a bum car that weekend.
That stinks.
Yeah, I mean, hybrids are great until you got to replace the hybrid battery,
which is like $11,000 or something stupid, isn't it?
Well, no, but it's closer to 4,000, and it's terrible. So. But hey,
that's a lot of Uber rides, is all I got to say.
I'm telling you right now. I mean, from here to Glendale. But yeah, are you going to be doing something like this again? Maybe
you can count on it. I've already spoken. Yeah, we've already spoken to the Heritage Square Museum and Corey that runs the place. The other thing to mention is, $5 of every ticket sold did go toward restoration and maintenance of the lovely Victorian homes at the museum. So it was a joint effort. So she was really excited about the turnout. She too loves Halloween. I mean, her license plate, I won't say it on air, but it is like, it cracked. It's like, it's so funny. So it worked out beautifully. And so we're already planning for next year. So yes, indeed.
Excellent. And David, what did you have to do with it? Did you just moral support, or?
Yeah, I mean, Claire really ran with it. She'd asked me for help, but Claire's really had a big hand in Midsummer Scream for the past, since we started. So for her, she wasn't turning me too much. It was mostly help me make a Photoshop graphic, or occasionally something along those lines. But really conceptually and logistically, she ran the ship. It was fantastic to watch. It was amazing. So very proud.
Excellent. Actually, Lindsey, I guess, went to it, and let's bring her back on so that she can join the discussion. Hey.
Yay!
Oh, good. She's muted.
Okay, I can't hear her.
She is not.
She's muted.
I was.
Okay.
Okay. I was like reveling in that slideshow. So I was like, oh, I remember that. And I have to tell you guys, so I was so excited to go for a million reasons, obviously. But before we walked in for our time, I turned to the people that I was with and I said, because everybody was kind of talking about what they're looking for, because, what decorations you hope are in there that you're going to buy. And I said, man, I would just die if there was an Elvira salt and pepper shaker, because I've been in the market for one for a long time. And like eBay overpriced, Mercari overpriced. I've been on the lookout. And sure enough, you guys delivered. They had one. I got it. Brand new. I'm pretty sure 2 counties overheard me when I saw that. So you guys had some excellent people with some really good merchandise, and it was so fun to just talk to everybody and just to see how happy everybody was to be out and to be with other haunters or other people that just love Halloween. It was just, forget Christmas. Like, that was Christmas. It already happened, folks. Don't worry about December 25th. It was so fun.
Oh, yay. I'm so glad you made it. I'm so glad you made it. It was like, of course I didn't yeah, I'm very happy to hear that you went. And Norm, he can make it up to me, but that's okay.
Oh, I love to be under Claire's thumb. It's so fun. Yeah. So speaking of Christmas, though, I mean, we still have something else coming up.
That's
Yes,
right.
What might that be?
Seasons Screamings, which in 2018 and 2019 was a pop-up that we did in Hollywood in a big candy store, Sweet, which is now closed. Again, with having a fire under my butt because of COVID, we decided to make it into a full-size convention, and we're bringing that also to the Pasadena Convention Center the weekend before Christmas. So come on out, spend time with your real family of horror fiends and freaks. But it's going to be, I mean, it's a Midsummer Scream event for sure. I mean, it's not on the scale of because we don't have the room, but so far the enthusiasm is just as big. So tickets will probably go on sale in a month or a month and a half. I would say get them as soon as you can because we just have and even in a normal world, our capacity is a third of what it could be. So, but we expect it to be a pretty exciting event. We have a lot of fun stuff that we're going to be announcing. It's going to be amazing.
I am so excited for that, and as it will feel to me kind of like getting back to Midsummer Scream. So very excited. Did the swap meet have that feel, Lindsay?
Yeah. Sorry.
Anybody can.
I don't want to step on any toes. It totally did. I mean, like it had the elements were there because Midsummer Scream, it's not the Hall of Shadows. This is going to sound super sappy, so strap in. It's not the Hall of Shadows. It's not the vendors. It's the spirit of Halloween. It's the people. It's the smiles and just people so passionate about their craft and about the holiday, because it's not really like a holiday, it's a lifestyle. And just to see all those people that you see every year at Midsummer Scream. So as long as that's happened and as long as David and Claire are running things, it's always going to look like Midsummer Scream because it's them. They put their heart and soul into it and you see it come to life every time.
No,
Thank you.
I know.
Yeah,
Sorry, I'm done.
I mean, we're bummed, Norm, you weren't there because I mean, you're part of the whole family, and for us, it was fun to work with the same crew again. I mean, I mean, for us, we really do love putting the event together, and the people that come to make it, and they're all Halloween fans. It's funny. I would say a couple of them probably aren't Halloween fans, but they kind of have bitten by the bug, whether a production or just just how awesome the community is. And so to kind of be within that was just, I mean, it was like we didn't skip a beat, and it's just like a fun party all weekend.
And I think it's really, I just want to really make sure that, we mentioned John Cook and Sarah Cook because, Sarah and I are the ones, it's our show. And we sort of course, roped in our partners. But, David was a great support. And then John was great at wrangling the haunters that I was able to, and that's the thing. It's like, it's not Midsummer Scream. It isn't. It's a different environment. It's a different show. It's a different, format, all of that. But of course, anytime there's horror community involved and familiar faces, and two of the producers are on it, so it gets confusing. But at the same time, it definitely has its own sort of bent to it, which was great. And it was really fun to get to work with John and Sarah as well. And, being able to contact people that we've known through the years and say, hey, you guys like Mystic Museum and Vamp and the Fiends and then just, and LA Haunted Hayride pulled through via 13th Floor and was our candy sponsor, which was so incredible. And,
and they have the best candy.
Putting the faith in, oh my gosh. And one little kid come up to me and he's like, you know how awesome it is that there's airheads? You know how hard it is to find airheads? You were so excited. And actually Sarah did supplement the candy and she got the Airheads. So, Sarah, big woohoo to you for choosing that candy. You have a fan.
I didn't know anyone liked Airheads, but kids today.
Kids.
There's a
What are you
market,
gonna do?
I guess.
Yeah.
Well, listen, let's we're running out of time here, but let's give the rundown of dates. David, the Sci-Fi Fantasy Convention is when?
February 12th and 13th, 2022. Go to sci-fi-fantasy-la.com for info. And then Season Screamings is December 17th, 18th, and 19th of this year, 2021. To find that, just go to midsummerscream.org/seasons-screamings, or just go to Midsummer Scream and you'll find information about it. And then there's more that we'll be announcing because we are crazy people and have been really bored. But
you don't even know the half of it.
And I know, like Norm, I'm sure that we'll be announcing something soon on our side.
I don't know.
Together. We're just going to tease it that way.
We'll just see.
And then,
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. That's going to be fun.
Hush.
I'm not saying any. Did I say anything?
It's that thing.
That's one thing.
And then,
I said, I forgot about that. That's going to be fun. Does that give anything away? No.
Not a thing other than anticipation.
And then since Claire almost spoiled that, she should tell you about the next edition of Spooky Swap Meet.
What should I tell you about it? That it's coming up next May.
We don't know.
Well, we definitely got the dates for next the last day of April, first day of May. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see if we maybe sneak one in the middle.
A little something. Excellent. Well, you guys, thank you again for coming, and congratulations on Spooky Swap Meet. And we're looking forward to Season Screamings and God, what's the official name? Sci-Fi Fantasy LA. That's right.
And by the way, I have to jump in. I know we're wrapping up, but I have to jump in and say that because David is always the person who's never going to toot his own horn. But let me just say, if David is involved, it's going to be damn fun. And it does not matter if you like sci-fi or not. Do you like Star Wars? You're going to like this thing. It's going to have fun elements no matter what. It will be fun.
Oh, Aaron, Shay, where are you? So excellent. All right, guys, thank you so much for coming on, and we will see you in another week with another edition of HorrorBuzz Live. If you want to follow us, don't. You know what? I'm gonna change the layout again. He keeps playing with my logo. Don't touch my HorrorBuzz. So there you go. All right, guys. Thank you so much for everything. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Follow us on social. And we will see you next week.
Thanks.